At the beginning of the story, our female lead, Yuming, comes straight and starts beating a boy. He tries to run away, but she stops him by throwing a pot at him. Actually, this boy was cheating on her best friend and many other girls together. So, here she is saying sorry to her in front of everyone and even on his social media. Our main lead, Lingo, was also in the same room, who was looking for a fiancé for himself because he had to save his position as the CEO of his jewelry design company. His father had asked him to get engaged within 3 months, but he did not like any of the girls recommended by his assistant. But here, he is very impressed by Yoming's bold personality. She makes the boy compensate for the vandalism. He gets angry and throws a glass of water on her and runs away. Then, Lingo comes and makes her wear his jacket. She thinks, wow, he is such a handsome guy. Then, she comes out, and he shows her that look because of your beating, my car is damaged. The damage has been done. She gets confused that she did not throw it with that much force, but Lingo asks her to pay 1 million. She says, from where will I get 1 million? If you do this, I will forgive you. Lingo says, okay, I will forgive you, but you will have to pay the compensation. He gives the option, either pay 1 million or make my contract with fine. Next scene, she tells this problem to her best friend, ING, and tells us that she belongs to a martial arts family. Her father runs a martial arts training institute and is also a trainer. But here, she was worried about how to tell her father about paying 1 million. Then, she sees the card given by Lingo and she comes to know that he is the CEO of a jewelry design company. Next scene, Lingo was trying to practice martial arts by watching the live stream of Yuming, and at the same time, his assistant comes. Lingo asks him to watch it with him, where she was teaching that if a boy beats her, then thinking how to kill her, both of them get into a bad state that what a tough girl she is. The assistant asks him to look for some other girl, but Lingo says that this is perfect. If she does not contact him within 2 days, then send a lawyer to her. There, he sees that his stepmother has publicly announced that Lingo will introduce his lover publicly in the upcoming party. On the other hand, to pay 1 million, Yuming now wakes up early in the morning and does delivery work, labor work, live stream, everything, and calculates that after doing so much work, she will be able to collect 1 million in 3 years and is very happy that she will pay her debt in 3 years. But then, she gets a call from the lawyer of Lingo that within 3 months, you will have to pay 1 million on a set. But in the next scene, she becomes an angry bird and comes to Lingo's office. She comes and grabbing his collar says, you want to take advantage of my mistake. Even though you are stuck, you want to be stuck. Lingo says, I don't have any such wrong intention, but it will be better if we talk while keeping a distance. Now, the matter was getting resolved when the situation becomes such that both of them come close, and the heartbeat of both of them becomes fast. After this, Lingo tells that I have fiancés. It is my stepmother's job to announce it publicly. I don't even know who she is going to make my fiancé in the party. Yuming says, it means you want me to become your fiancé and break your arranged marriage. He says, exactly, if you can do this, I will forgive your compensation. So, Yuming also agrees for the contract. Then, Lingo asks her to remember her and her family details properly. Next, in the party, we see Lingo's father, his stepmother, stepbrother, where his stepmother is talking about Lingo. She was about to announce about her fiancé, but before that, Lingo announces that his fiancé is Yuming. Then, Yuming comes on the stage, which was like a dream for her because she was attending such a grand celebration for the first time. Lingo says, don't be nervous and focus on acting, and was sharing his fake love story in front of everyone in such a way that she thinks that if he was an actor, he would have won the Oscar. Then, in the middle of the party, a girl named Vank comes, who was the twin of Lingo's late girlfriend. Yuming thinks that the chapter has not started yet, and the villain has made an entry. After this, Lingo's stepmother starts insulting Yuming, and she starts talking about his poor background. Then, she gives them the same answer. Then she asks Lingo, what did I do wrong? He says, no, you have done a perfect job. After this, she goes to Lingo's father and starts acting that even though I am from a poor family, I really love Lingo, and I will work really hard so that they will accept our relationship. He says that I will never accept you as my daughter-in-law, but she forces him to drink, so that people also think that she is happy with her son's fiancé. In the next scene, Lingo's father was telling his second son, "What is the use of studying enough when you are not able to do any work?" Lingo also comes, and they start telling him, "You can get engaged with a girl for fun, but you should not have told that girl about your fiancé in front of the media like this." Lingo says, "You forced me to do this. If my stepmother had fixed my blind marriage with one thing, I would not have told her about my fiancé," and leaves without having breakfast. On the other hand, the thought of Lingo was coming into Yoming's mind. She thinks, no, even if he is handsome, I should not think about him. Then ING comes and shows the news to Yuming. Your and Lingo's news is trending, but all the comments are negative. On top of that, the person whom she beat that day has also taken advantage of the opportunity and posted a negative video against her. Yuming sees that his live stream channel has also been suspended. She calls Lingo, but his mobile was switched off. Lingo was in a meeting where his stepmother and stepbrother were resolving his old wound from 10 years ago. They start talking about it. This hurts Lingo a lot. After the meeting, one thing comes to him, and he keeps looking at her because she looked exactly like his sister Lingo's late girlfriend. Actually, one thing used to like Lingo, but Lingo liked her sister, who had died 10 years ago. So, one thing did plastic surgery so that she could look like her sister, and Lingo started liking her. But earlier and now also, Lingo rejects her. Then Yuming calls him and tells him everything. Then he leaves to go to her. On the other hand, the same beaten boy comes with some boys and orders them to attack Yuming and her friend ING, but instead, both of them beat them up badly. Out of anger, that boy attacks Yuming, but she beats him too. But just when the other boy was about to hit him, Lingo protects him and gets hurt. Then Lingo asks his assistant to clear this gossip related to the online matter, and Lingo tells her that it is his job to upload videos about her online. Hearing this, she angrily says, "You are rich. It does not mean that you will ruin my reputation. Look, I am a poor worker. I cannot play this melodrama of love game with you." Lingo says, "Who is asking you to play games? Marry me. I want to marry you." She says, "Why do you want to marry me? It is not at all possible that you fell in love at first sight after seeing me. Does anyone in your family have kidney disease? Do you want my kidney?" Lingo says, "Don't think about it. I have intentionally shown that video to my stepmother. I want to see what will be her and my father's reaction if I marry such an arrogant girl." Yomong says, "Stop the car. I do not want to marry you. I will not sell myself in exchange of 1 million compensation." Then Lingo shows her her father's 11 million debt. Now she had no option but to pay this debt. So she agrees with him for a contract marriage. On the other hand, Lingo's father, after watching Yumin's online video, says he doesn't know how Lingo has chosen this arrogant girl. Neither her character is right nor her background. Then Lingo reaches there with Yumin, and because Yumin had to show her arrogant side, she was acting like that. Lingo's stepmother starts insulting Yumin and also calls her a mistress. Then Lingo says, "You are mistressing her. When you married my father, your son was 14 years old." Yumin says, "He is not your biological son." His father says to him, "You are being too arbitrary. If you marry this girl, I will remove you from the position of CEO." Lingo says, "Remove it. Later, you will come in front of me and request me to become CEO again." Angrily, his father says, "You think the company cannot run without you, and his stepmother will be made the CEO of the company from tomorrow." Yes, the CEO of the company. He makes stepbrother Jiha the head of the design department. After this, Jiha says, "Now Lingo is also not the CEO, so you can leave him and come to me." Yuming says, "Brother-in-law, first, you should take the book correctly. You cannot take the book correctly. How will you run the company? And anyway, I don't like mama's boys. I like handsome guys like Lingo." Then she asks Lingo, "How was my acting?" He says, "It was awesome." After this, he brings her to his room and says, "So that no one has any doubt, we have to stay together temporarily. For now, we have to spend the night today. From tomorrow, if you will stay at my place, I will arrange a separate room," and gives her his shirt and asks her to change her dress. He does it himself. Then Yuming sees that his abdomen is injured. In the morning, to save him, she helps him in applying medicine, but seeing him getting so close to her, Lingyu gets nervous and says, "Let it be. I will apply it myself." Then she sleeps on the sofa in front so that no one comes to keep an eye, so she can quickly go to Lingyu's bed. Now, after some time, a servant knocks on the door to come inside. Then, in the hurry to go to bed, she falls on him, and both of them start kissing. Then the servant comes and sees them like this. She comes out and tells the other woman that both of them are really engaged. Here both of them say sorry to each other. Then Lingyu asks, "By the way, how was your experience?" "This was my first kiss." Hearing this, she starts making fun. Then, Lingus pins her on the bed and says, "It seems I have to show you whether I am perfect or not." She says, "Okay, I will not tease you by looking at your apps. I have come to know that you are very perfect as well as strong," and goes to sleep on the sofa. Next day, after the CEO change, Lingus's father gets worried because, whether it is inside the country or outside, companies were stopping cooperating with him. Even many shareholders were withdrawing from the investment, and within no time, the company's share stock started going down. Now, he tells his wife to bring Lingyu back to work at any cost. Now, she goes to Lingyu. Seeing her coming, both of them start pretending to be lovers. She comes and says, "I agree with what your mom says. I had an affair with your father, but the decision to marry me was your father's, and even now, I did not ask him to make me CEO. He himself told me." Lingyu says, "I know why you have come. It's okay, I will become CEO again, but I need the household register." So, he forces his stepmother to give it to him. Yuming asks, "What will you do with it?" He says, "Actually, 15% shares of the company are in my mother's name, which my future wife will get as a gift. So, after marrying you, I can transfer 15% shares to my name." On the other hand, his stepmother tells Wang Thing, "You have to approach Lingyu quickly, otherwise, he will marry that girl." Next scene, Yoming's father asks him to come home and explain everything. So, Lingyu also goes with him, where she advises, "My father is very cold-hearted. I don't know if he can break you into pieces, so go back home." But Lingyu goes and directly asks him for permission to marry Yuming. He says, "I don't want my daughter to marry in a family like yours. I have also seen about online rumors. You should solve it before marriage. You can't protect her now. What will you do after marriage?" Lingyu says, "It was my fault, but I will not make such a mistake again. I will always take care of her." He talks about providing them with a check of millions and some property in return for marriage. Yoming's father says, "It means you want to buy my daughter with money? I don't want such a son-in-law. I don't want to sell my daughter, and anyway, my son-in-law will inherit this martial art." He says, "I don't know martial arts, but I can run the institute well." Yoming's father says, "If you really want to marry my daughter, then you have to accept my 3 challenges." Then Lingyu also accepts it. Yumin thinks that she doesn't know what the challenge is going to be, and sees that his first challenge was that he had to cut 300 onions himself. The Lingyu completes his first challenge, crying. Next day, his second challenge was to fill water in a bucket 300 times. Yuming thinks that she can't believe that such a big man can do such a thing. But she sees that this challenge was becoming very difficult for her. So she asks her father to stop. But Lingyu is busy completing the challenge. But Lingyu faints in the middle. So Yoming's father has to pick him up and bring him home. Now the next challenge was a game. While playing it, Yoming's father asks him, "You're from such a rich family. You could have chosen any girl. Then why did you choose Yumin?" Lingyu says, "I don't know. Maybe because she is honest, or I have started liking everything about her. But whatever happens, our love will last for life." He tells that he is in love with Yuming and will get married tomorrow. Yoming's father says, "But I will not give permission for the wedding until you become the inherit my martial academy," which means they accept Lingyu now. After this, everyone sits for dinner, where Lingyu and Yoming's father drink a lot. Yoming's father shows Lingyu Yoming's childhood album and, showing a crystal, says, I have kept this crystal safely and will make a ring for my wife one day, but I have not been able to give it to her till date. Both of them start behaving like children. Yoming's mom asks him to take hangover soup for Lingyu and also gives him a condom, saying, you guys are engaged, but we don't want grandchildren so soon. Yuming, feeling sad, says, what are you saying? We are not going to do anything like this right now. There is no need, and returns the condom and leaves. But as soon as she goes near Lingyu, who is just about to leave with a shower, she says, it is hangover soup. Drink it. As soon as Lingyu takes a spoon, he picks up the bowl and finds another condom underneath. He says, wow, you just want to take advantage of me being drunk. Yuming says, I don't have any such intention. Mom is thinking that since we are engaged, we should use protection. That's why I have kept it. Lingyu says, what do you think? Should I use it or not? And pins it on the bed. Now, both were so close that they even kissed, while their parents were watching them from the front. Mom was enjoying a lot, but Yoming's father says, what is he doing with my daughter? Someone stop him. Then, Mom takes him back. In the next scene, Yoming's father hands over his martial arts academy's manual and household register to Linghu. Seeing this, he thinks that these people trust him. He says, don't worry, I will take good care of Yuming. Then his mother gives the check and property papers given by Lingyu to Yuming, saying, we don't need all this. You keep it. Lingyu thinks, I am not putting Yuming in danger for my benefit. Yuming is very happy to see such a big amount check and then returns it to Lingyu. He says, why are you returning it? She says, all this was acting, right? Lingyu says, by the way, our marriage is fake. Your father will come to know about it one day. He will be hurt. So understand, this is compensation from my side. Yuming says, I can't believe you are giving me so much money so easily. He says, I am not giving it so easily. Now we have to get the marriage certificate made. Then we have to take the shares of our mother also. Only then you will get the money. Then they get the marriage certificate made as well. Yuming thinks, have I just sold myself for money? Then Lingyu makes her wear a ring and tells her that he has designed this ring himself and clicks a picture with the marriage certificate and posts it on social media. Then he takes her to his father's house so that he can see his face reaction after hearing the news of the marriage. But Yuming clarifies that we are a contract couple, so you should not take advantage of me. Lingyu teases, you have stolen my first kiss. You came to my room with a condom and asking me to take advantage. On the other hand, Wangthing's father goes to Lingyu's father's house and talks about Lingyu and Wangthing's marriage. Then Lingyu's father also agrees for their marriage because he was also a big businessman, so both the families were going to benefit from this marriage. But then both of them come and tell them that we have got married. Hearing this, Wangthing's father tells them that first, you should solve the family matter. His father gets very angry. They leave. Wangthing kisses Lingyu to challenge Yuming and says, consider this as a farewell kiss. Yuming thinks, I have no idea what to do now. Then Lingyu tells her, now that I am married you should not do such things. Then Wangthing tells Yuming, I have seen many girls like you who approach rich boys, but you are capable enough to trap Lingyu in your trap. But I know he married you so that he wants his mother's shares. So you take whatever money you want and go. I will be his wife. Yuming says, obviously you like him, but it is a different matter that he would not choose you. Why would he choose you? You are useless in looks and intelligence both. Next scene, Jihao tells his mother to control Lingyu, saying, he is doing my recent project, even he wants to remove me from his design department and send me to the sales department. Knowing this, his stepmother gets angry and tells Jihao to hire some men and send them to his wife, saying it will be fun to see his reputation falling in front of everyone. Lingyu takes Yuming to his house where she is very happy to see Lingyu's dog and thinks, has he been living alone with this dog for so many years? Then Lingyu shows her his room and she is very happy to see such a big room. Lingyu says, even though we are a fake couple, but whether we are at home or outside you will call me honey. Now she was practicing to call him honey when Lingyu's assistant comes and tells him, your father wants to meet you at home. Then Lingyu tells Yuming, you stay here, do not leave the house, I will come back soon. But she was getting bored at home alone, so she thinks to go home and get her live stream things. But outside the house a man tells her, Lingyu has hired me as your manager and he wants to give you a surprise, so you come with me. Hearing this, she agrees to go with him, but there were other men in the car who pounced on Yuming, and this man was hired by Lingyu's stepmother. But those men also went to tease Kung Fu Master. She beats them up instead. On the other hand, there was some problem in the company, so Lingyu's father asks him to handle it. Here his stepmother says, "You are a newly married couple. I think you should focus more on your wife. Anyway, she will be alone at home." Then Lingyu calls Yuming, but the mobile was switched off, so he quickly leaves for home. There Yuming was tying all the goons in one place and beating them up, and was also doing a live stream and teaching how to beat up goons. Then Lingyu comes and catches her and says, "I told you not to go out of the house. Why did you leave?" She says, "Who wants to stay at home after marriage? And anyway, I am no less than a bodyguard. No one can harm me." Then Lingyu kisses her. Yuming says, "What are you doing?" "I am live," and gives a message to her viewers. Lingyu picks her up and takes her away. The assistant also calls the police. After this, Lingyu says to Yuming, "Sorry, I should have told you earlier how bad my stepmother is. For so many years, she has not missed a single opportunity to torture me. And now that you are my wife, you have also come in her sight. Maybe I had become too selfish. You are getting in danger in the process of getting shares, but it doesn't matter. As soon as the work is completed, we will divorce so that my stepmother will not be able to trouble you anymore." Yuming does not like to hear divorce, but what could she do? It had to happen. Then her assistant comes and tells her, "You will not get your mother's shares until her daughter-in-law has the pink necklace made by her." Now Lingo did not know this. Yuming says, "That day Wang Thing was saying that only she can get your mother's shares for you. Maybe she has the pink necklace. That's why she was saying so." And then Wang Thing comes to their house to stay with them for a few days, that is to become a bone in the kebab. Lingo also gives permission because he wanted the pink necklace. Wang Thing goes to Yoming's room and says, "I want to stay in this room," and takes her favorite doll and throws it away. Yuming says, "Neither your looks are good nor your brains are good, but at least you should respect others' things." Wang Thing understands that this doll is Yoming's favorite. That's why she asks for it. When she starts asking for it, Lingyu also asks her to give it to him. Yuming scolds her angrily and leaves. Lingus asks Wang Thing for the pink necklace because her mother had given that necklace to Wang Thing's sister, and after her death Wang Thing kept that necklace. But she says that she doesn't have it. Then Lingus puts his hand around her neck, but it was some other necklace. Meanwhile, the assistant tells that Yuming packed her things and went to her house. She is probably very angry. Lingyu also reaches her house quickly. It is revealed that the doll was gifted to her by Yoming's father on her birthday. The assistant says that's why she is so angry. Then Lingyu goes to her and asks her if she is angry with him. She says, "No, then why should I get angry for that girl? I was pretending to be angry so that she doesn't have any doubt. But you treat her differently. Is she your old lover?" Lingus says no, and shows her Wang Thing's sister's photo and tells her that, "I had a childhood lover whose name was Chan Lai. Before my mother's death, she gave her pink necklace to Chan Lai because she also wanted to make her daughter-in-law. After my mother's death, I came to know about my father and stepmother's affair. I jumped into one lake in anger, but Chan Lai saved me, but she is no more. Even though she looks like Chan Lai after plastic surgery, there is no place for her in my heart." Hearing this, Yuming also feels very bad. In the next scene, Ling Su tells his assistant to show the proposal of the next design competition to my stepmother again. The assistant says, "But your father has already rejected the proposal." Lingyu says, "Do as I am saying and the proposal will be accepted." And we see that he had also put the evidence copy of Ji Hao in the proposal, in which he had mentioned illegal activities. There was a record of the transaction, so now they have no option left. The scene changes and Lingus calls Yuming once to introduce him to one of his friends. Yuming thinks he has not told anything about him. How should I behave? Then she shows her arrogant personality, seeing which his friend is surprised. Then he tells Yuming, "I am Lingyu's childhood friend Van. I am also a jewelry designer and have recently returned from France. Recently his stepmother wants to cooperate with me and wants me to do detective work for him." Yuming was still confused, so she was trying to give her best in her acting. Then a staff member brings drinks who is none other than her friend Ian. So after seeing Yuming, she goes back. Here Yuming had drunk too much and tells Lingyu and Van, "My stepmother should not doubt me, so from now on we will meet here only." He says, "By the way, this is a very cute way of approaching." Does he even think about it or not? Lingus tells him to stop nonsense. He says, "I am not like you who flirts with every girl," and takes Yuming away. After this, Van says to Ing, "You came inside just then why did you go away?" She says, "Yuming is my friend and I work secretly here." Van drinks a little bit from the glass and gives some tips too. On the other hand, Lingyu takes Yuming to his father's house and tells her he knows that our marriage is fake and he is on our side. Yuming says, "Then why did you not tell me this earlier? I was acting so weird." Lingyu says, "If I had told you there you would have felt more embarrassed." She says, "Why did you bring me here? Is there any work?" He says, "Yes, there is a jade unicorn in the living room. I have to break it." She says, "Your father keeps asking about that jade unicorn 1,000 times. If I break it, I will not be able to pay even in 1,000 years. After this, she enters the house. When she starts behaving like a drunkard, the servant tries to make her keep quiet, but on hearing the sound, Lingyu's father and her stepmother come out. Yuming continues her acting again, then her father angrily says, "You have married this girl. Does she look normal from any angle? Take her away from here." She thinks this is getting very serious. "If I break the jade unicorn right now, it will look obvious." Then the stepmother takes advantage of this and starts scolding Lingyu. Yuming also gets an idea and starts making her angry by calling him waiter waiter. Now she gets more angry and slaps her. Yuming also takes advantage of this and drops the jade unicorn along with herself, but during this she gets hurt. Seeing this, her father was more angry and asks everyone to leave from there. Then Lingyu brings Yuming to his room and asks her to take off her clothes. She says, "I am helping you and you want to take advantage of me?" He says, "I know you are hurt. Open it, I will apply medicine." "You will not be able to apply it yourself." Then Yuming also listens to him. Lingyu takes off her dress in a very romantic way. Obviously, both of their heartbeats were getting very fast, but here Lingyu only applies medicine and says, "You are stupid. I told you to break the jade unicorn, not to hurt yourself. Take care of yourself from now on." Now both were so close that they do not have control over their feelings, and they also kiss. Next day, Yuming goes to Lingyu's father and says, "I don't know whether you care about the jade unicorn breaking or not, but Lingyu is very upset with this. Once you lose something, you can never get it back. Even if you are a successful businessman, you can never become a good dad." Saying this, she leaves. On the other side, Lingyu meets Van, where Van tells him, "Your stepmother is desperate to cooperate with me. She has offered me that if I cooperate with her, then she will pay me a huge amount every year. I am telling you the truth. If I cheat you someday, then I will become rich." Lingyu says, "You should agree to cooperate with her right now, but keep one condition," and tells him what condition he has to keep. Here Yuming was practicing martial arts while Wang Thing was coming to Yuming's house to create a new ruckus. Here she overhears the conversation between Yuming and Eng. Yuming tells Eng that her and Lingyu's marriage is a contract marriage. Hearing this, Wang Thing tells this to Lingyu's stepmother, where she gives Wang Thing an idea about what she has to do now. In the meeting, Linghu's father was praising Linghu's hard work and was telling Jiha to learn something from Linghu in front of everyone. He feels embarrassment. His stepmother calls Steven, who is actually Van, and reminds him about the cooperation. Now, since Linghu had said that he should agree to the cooperation, he agrees. Meanwhile, Jiha tells his father that they are collaborating with Steven because his design draft is very unique. So his father advises him to be alert and work because Steven was a new face for him. Coming out, he tells his mother that it seems that Papa will let Linghu handle the project this time too. "In this case, I will never be able to become a CEO." His mother says it seems that something will have to be done. On the other hand, Yuming was watching Lingus news. Eng comes and says he has been abroad for a few days. "You are missing him. Have you started liking him? By the way, he takes care of you. He talks to you every day." At the same time, Eng reminds Yuming, "I have to apply medicine to you." Yuming says, "There is nothing like that. We are just business partners." Eng says, "I understand, but even if you like him, don't express it first. If he confesses first, it will be good. And to find out whether he likes you or not, you should get close to him and see his reaction. If no one reacts, then understand that your story is over. Keep your business going." In the next scene, when he returns home, she goes to his room where he was changing his dress. As soon as Yuming comes, he hugs her and says, "I was missing you every day." She says, "You were missing me as a business partner." Then Lingyu kisses her and asks, "How is your injury?" and checks her injury, then applies medicine too. She was feeling pain, that's why she was screaming. She thinks to herself, how should I explain it? She was making such a sound that Wang Thing was hearing this erotic sound. Then she thinks both are a fake couple. While pretending to be intimate, are they really getting intimate? Lingyu tells her, "I have to give you something," and takes it. Wang Thing enters Lingyu's room and starts looking for evidence of the contract marriage paper. Lingyu gifts her a necklace which he had designed himself. Yuming likes the necklace very much. Lingyu makes her wear it and then both of them kiss. Here Wang Thing also gets their contract marriage document. The next scene is Lingyu's meeting, where some men come to the meeting on Jiha's behest and start creating a ruckus, with Lingyu saying, "Because of you we have been eliminated from the jewelry competition." After this, the stepmother makes the contract marriage thing public with proof. Aang comes to Yuming and tells her, "The fake marriage thing of both of you has become public," and starts blaming Lingyu, saying, "All this has happened because of him." Yuming says, "He likes me," or no, he has never said it clearly, but at least we are friends. "He will not wish me any harm." She calls him and says, "If we say in the press conference that this news is fake, then the matter can be solved." He says, "It is too late. I will handle the matter myself." Lingyu's father starts scolding him. The stepmother also starts scolding him. Then his father starts scolding her, saying, "You people will ruin everything by fighting within the family." He says to him, "You married that girl. She is worthy of becoming the daughter-in-law of this house." Now to save Yuming, he says, "There is no fault of Yuming in this. I forced her to marry because I wanted shares. I do not love her. Whatever she has done till date, she did it on my insistence." Now Yuming comes there when he was saying that he doesn't love her. This hurts her a lot and she leaves from there. Here Lingus says, "I will resign from the design department and the position of CEO tomorrow so that the matter can be settled quickly." On the other hand, Yuming packs her stuff and keeps the ring and necklace given by him and starts leaving from his house. Then she sees the resume of some girls and thinks, this means the car getting damaged was just an excuse. I was his target from the beginning. I was helping him, considering him as a friend, and he was using me as a tool. In the next scene, Lingus comes home and finds Wang Thing in his room. She says Yuming has packed her stuff and left. "It doesn't matter. I have a pink necklace. Marry me. I will help you in burning the shares." Then Lingus snatches that necklace from her neck and says, "You are not worthy of this. Do you think that I did not investigate anything about you?" He gives her some photos and says, "I know you killed your sister. You don't deserve anything," and leaves. Then he misses Yuming a lot and thinks, "I am realizing how much I love her." On the other hand, Yuming was also missing him. Then she gets to know that Lingyu has come there. Then Aang goes to teach him a lesson. Lingyu comes to Yuming and gives her a pink necklace. She says, "I know everything. I was just a part of your plan from the beginning. But it doesn't matter. I signed the contract on my own will, and you have not done anything wrong. I am keeping this necklace safely for you. You can take it whenever you need it." And she leaves. On the other side, Aang brings some martial arts candidates and Van was standing in front. Thinking him to be Lingyu, she beats him badly. Van says to Lingyu, "I will die someday because of you." Then he tells Lingyu that ever since his stepmother has become CEO, she has been wanting core design to replace him with Jiha, and for this Jiha is even selling his shares. It seems that they will take the diamond mine. Lingyu says, "It is good. Let them invest all their money." In the next scene, in a meeting, Jiha tells his mother that in this auction they will take the high-quality diamond mine. Although its price is much higher than the budget, but the profit will also be double from this. But here during the auction, some other unknown company bids more than them, and in this way both the companies keep increasing the bid, and the matter reaches 3 million. Now Jiha and his mother together had only this much money, and that company goes beyond that. Lingyu's father says, "If our company does not get this diamond mine, then you will not be in the position of CEO anymore." On the other hand, seeing the news, Van tells Lingyu, "I thought your stepmother would definitely win in this auction. Who is this unknown company competing with?" "Well, if she is not able to get a diamond mine, then your father will remove her from the position of CEO anyway," Van says. This is a good opportunity for you to make your company come back. Lingus says, chill friend, we are on vacation. My wife's anger has not calmed down till now. Then Aang brings their order. Van starts flirting with her and she leaves in irritation. Then Lingus says, what do you think that unknown company can be? Van says, what are you talking about? That company is yours. Wow! There Aang says to Yuming, what do these two want? They are staying here for so many days and just ordering food. Why don't you say something to them? Yuming says, there must be some reason that they are here, and anyway both of them are handsome, so it is good because of them more customers also come. But now it seems that I will have to talk to them. She goes and returns Lingus' necklace and says, first I thought that damaging your car was my bad luck, but now I know that I was your target even before I met you, but the funniest thing is that I can't even get angry. After all you have paid for it with the death of my family. Lingus says, so now you want a divorce? Yuming says, yes, I was a fool that I liked you and I thought that you also liked me, but you don't. She starts leaving when Lingus pulls her and kisses her. She says, what are you doing? Lingus says, sorry, if I had known that I would start loving you to this extent, then believe me, I would never have met you in this way. I love you very much. I don't want a divorce from you, but I want to stay with you for life. I have not transferred the equity till now because what is of my mother's is mine and what is mine is yours. Please don't divorce me. I will never separate from you again, Lingus says. Yuming says, if you lie again, then I will break your skull. Then she kisses him. Lingus also kisses her. In the next scene, he says to Yuming, right now I am unemployed. If you remain unemployed in the future, also will you leave me? She says, even if you remain unemployed, there is no problem. It is good anyway. I don't know how Zio's wife treats. Don't worry, I have millions of fans on social media. I will support you. Hyung says to Van, how long will you people stay here like shameless people? He says, what is shamelessness? Lingus is the son-in-law of this house. We are guests. Leaving the account you are saying this, and irritates her by flirting. On the other hand, to get diamond mined from that unknown company, they had to give 4 billion, and they had only 3 billion. So Jiha's mother asks him to take help from Wanting. He says to Wanting, now Lingus is not even the CEO. It is useless to waste time on him. If you stay with me, then you will become the mistress of our house. Hearing this, she gets ready to help. In the meeting, Jiha tells that all the agreements have been done and the raw material will reach us today itself. Father praises Jiha a lot and asks him to bring the raw material home so that he can check it himself. Van shows Lingus the news that your stepmother and stepbrother have got a diamond mine for 4 billion. Lingus says it means that both of them do not have any money right now. So now it is time to end the show. We have to leave from here right now. He tells Yuming, now I have to go, but you stay here because you are my biggest weakness right now. I will come to pick you up after making everything right. Yuming says yes and asks him to take care of himself. On the other hand, the raw material of the diamond mine is delivered to Lingus' father. Jiha comes to know that the designer named Steve with whom they are collaborating is missing now. Wanting sees Steven's resume and comes to know that he is Van Lingus' friend. Knowing this, he gets shocked. Now Wanting also cancels the investment with Jiha. Lingus' father checks the raw material and finds out that it is fake, and he gets a heart attack. Luckily, Lingus reaches there and takes him to the hospital, where he tells Lingus, I have always treated you kindly. Obviously, you must be blaming me. He says, no, I just hate you. My mother helped you till you became successful, and in the end you betrayed her. You are the reason for her death. His father also accepts his mistake and apologizes to Lingus and hands over the company to Lingus because he understood that he can handle the company well. Jiha tells his mother that Steven is missing and the raw material that has been found is also fake. Seeing this, his father got a heart attack. His mother is worried about what will happen now. First, he sold all his shares and invested 4 billion, out of which 1 billion was given to Wanting, she says. In such a situation, Lingus will not leave us. I had signed a marriage agreement with your father that he has nothing to do with my debt. So right now we should leave this country as soon as possible. She calls her assistant to transfer all the money of the company to her bank account. Immediately, Lingus reaches there and starts playing the recording of what they were talking about. She says, forgive us, please give us a chance. Lingus says, why? When my mother was suffering from breast cancer, you were intentionally calling her and showing your romance with my father. You both are the reason for my mother's death. He gives her two options, either take divorce from my father or get ready to go to jail. She signs the divorce papers. Now a scene of a few months later is shown when Lingus starts running his father-in-law's martial arts institute along with his company and also does live streams. After this, the assistant comes and tells him that there is some problem in the company, so they have to extend the date of launching their design draft. Now before Lingus says anything, Yuming comes in a badass form and says no date will be postponed and tells the assistant what to do next and asks him to come with her to the company. Lingus feels proud of his wife, thinking, now my wife is also handling the company well. He tells her, come home soon, honey, make a good meal. With this, the story ends on a happy note. The narrator concludes, and with that, this is the happy ending of this drama. See you in the next video, and I request you to subscribe to the channel.